Welcome to Open and Shut, Connecting Effective Data Use to Strong Data Privacy. In this session, Rachel Anderson, the Associate Director of Federal Policy and Advocacy with the Data Quality Campaign, will be moderating a discussion with data privacy experts from several perspectives. So today we are joined by Bill Fitzgerald, Director of the Privacy Evaluation Initiative at Common Sense Media, Amelia Vance, the Education Policy Council with the Future of Privacy Forum, Steve Smith, the Chief Information Officer for Cambridge Public Schools, and Leah Plunkett, a fellow with the Youth and Media team at the Berkman Klein Center for Internet and Society at Harvard University, and Associate Professor of Legal Skills and Director of Academic Success at the University of New Hampshire School of Law. So, sorry about that. It's exciting, you're doing so much. Please join me in welcoming them. And just so you know, this session is being recorded. So if you have any questions, we're just going to ask that you use this mic. I'll be holding on to it. You can flag me down, and I'll try to run over to you if I see a hand up. So thank you all, and thank you guys.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I think this is a topic that touches all of us, regardless of our role. This issue of how to use data well, but also how to make sure that we're safeguarding it, and sort of finding a balance between two things that honestly really aren't in opposition, but take some pretty special care and consideration. So what we're going to do this morning is actually first break out into two smaller conversations. If you're anything like me, you hear small group breakout and start eyeing the door, but please don't. These are data privacy superstars. Moderating the session is going to be on my resume for the rest of my life because I can't believe that I'm in a room with such cool people. And so they're going to lead you through two sort of scenarios that come up a lot in the realm of student data privacy. So Amelia and Leah will be leading a conversation about some of the larger legal and tech frameworks around what we're really talking about when we're talking about data use and data privacy. And Bill and Steve will be talking about some practices around contracting and some of the real on-the-ground concerns that pop up in districts every day. We're going to spend about 25 minutes and then switch, so you'll have a chance to do both conversations. After that, we'll bring our panelists back up here and have a little debrief and panel discussion. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's put Amelia and Leah at this front table right up here, and Bill and Steve will be in that back corner over there. And split in half, as I said, you'll have a chance to do both. So happy talking, and we'll reconvene shortly.
Pull up a chair. This is going to be very interactive. Much to your chagrin, but. Sorry.
So I'm pulling up the. I think that there is a continuing challenge around how to set up data governance systems, and very often what we may think of as not having a data governance system because we don't have clear written policies is still actually a data governance system. It's just a very informal kind of ad hoc one. And so figuring out how folks, regardless of where they are in their learning community, can help bring people together to put in place sort of an agreed upon ahead of time data governance system so that teachers are still empowered to innovate and to respond to the needs of their classrooms and exciting opportunities without putting, the CTO in the position of finding out that every classroom in the district is now using some new app that no one has vetted from an IT perspective. And I think that those conversations can sometimes be hard to convene, and there'll be, real differences in perspectives and comfort with technology, but really encouraging folks from wherever you're seated to help move the ball in those conversations. I took the liberty of leading up. We can bring it down so we're not distracted by it, but the landing page for the privacy and student data companion learning tools that we all just went through, and because you can also see it contains a link to the privacy and student data federal law overview that my colleagues over at the Cyber Law Clinic at Harvard put together. I think that the guide from the clinic is a wonderful place to start for basics of FERPA, COPPA, and PPRA, the distant cousin of FERPA and COPPA that people usually forget about, but it's important to think about it. I hope that you might use these learning tools to help see discussions in your community. And then if you went back to the landing page for the digital literacy resource platform up there, thanks Maria, you would see a drop-down menu to pull up a number of other resources that you can use to teach kids that are more for teachers. And last but certainly not least, would invite you to check out a student privacy, equity, and digital literacy newsletter that I co-edit with one of our wonderful colleagues at the Data and Society Research Institute. That's an email newsletter, comes out every other week, and that's tinyletter.com/SPI if you want to sign up, and we kind of bring bi-weekly news roundups of those different categories, but also the intersections of privacy, equity, and digital literacy.
Thank you. I think from the district's perspective, I think the hardest thing is, especially for districts that are just starting to think about this, is where do I start? I've got really much technical support. It used to be a bigger issue. And then obviously the privacy. So those are the three things and kind of the three different levels that get involved. As far as privacy goes, it really is going to depend on your district, your capacity, and your staff. In Cambridge, we have tried to streamline the process. So as I mentioned before, the contracts go out, it's done by an administrative assistant. If they come back signed, we're done as far as that goes. But lots of times there's questions that will come to me first. And then if they get more legal, we have in-house legal. So privacy, vetting, who's involved really depends on the depth of the questions and the issues.
And I think I sort of alluded to at one of the tables a really interesting case study, I think, where there's a district that has a really wonderful privacy program, especially through their IT office, but not all programs will go through the IT office. So in this particular case, the district adopted a visitor management system without checking with anyone on the privacy side. And it does things including scan everyone's driver's license when they come into school. They take that data, there doesn't appear to be a limitation on how the data can be used, and they run the data against criminal databases. There's no disclosure for any of this, and it was missed because it went through the security office as opposed to the IT or lawyer side of things. So I think it's really important that these conversations not be siloed. We're at a point where video surveillance is also used for disciplinary issues, is also potentially used for school efficiency purposes, figuring out where students are, whatever it may be, and these conversations really have to happen across all of those separate silos that we used to have in schools.
We have just a few moments left. Is there a question from the audience? Anything you didn't get to ask about in your small group discussions? In that case, I will pose one final question to the panel, which is, what are you most excited about in this space? What's going right? What are some big opportunities? What do you see as something that we can really look forward to, even as we sort of balance these complicated issues?
I think everything that my colleagues have, pulled up on the screen and talked about is a shining example of what's going right, and all of you being in the room. And I'm not trying to dodge the question. I actually very much mean this. I think that this is it's a complex and rapidly evolving space, and just seeing the many wonderful resources that are getting created based on needs seen on the front lines, or needs seen from the policy side, or the advocacy and oversight side, whatever hats we're all wearing in different ways, and sort of the shared investment around conversation and brainstorming, I think is going really right, and I think we can look forward to more of that, because even a few years ago, I don't think we would have seen nearly as much stuff getting pulled up on those screens, that screen, and we wouldn't have seen nearly as many people in a room with this many sort of insightful questions and reflections.
But one of the things I'm really excited for is actually getting more students involved in vetting and evaluating and discussing the technology that they are using to learn. Because we often talk about student data privacy, but as we talk about student data privacy, we almost never have real live actual students involved. The tools to do this are straightforward. Students actually can and should be involved, and one of the things I'm excited about doing is building out some tools that let students get directly involved in this work and have a direct voice in providing feedback on the tools that they use to what they're doing.
I think my biggest excitement comes from both, as Lee said, the number of resources. There have been an explosion of resources that are now available to help with all of the challenges that we talked about, and they are there, and it's just a matter of letting people know about them, which is really what I hope we do with Sherpa and with Bill's blog and Leah's newsletter and a lot of Steve's work, is that these things are starting to be circulated more, but still getting them out there is really important. And then I'm also excited that even though we've had sort of this legal explosion in student privacy across states, people are now talking about this. This is now something that's more of a priority, and therefore we're actually developing these data governance structures and other things that we weren't really thinking about before, because there are so many other priorities for people. So that makes me excited.
I think there are two things I want to mention. One is, I guess I'm just excited about the success of the consortium, especially addressing the contract piece, because it's such a pain point for school districts that what's happening in California, it really is addressing the contract issue. It's becoming the contract to implement EdTech tools. And I'd love to see that happen across the country and eventually streamline it even more similar across states. So I'm really excited about that. But secondly, I'm also excited that it's 11:30 and I'm going to start a long weekend and go to New York City for the weekend.
Perfect last one.
That's a great note to end on. We are in time.